Hi everyone, this is Michael Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service LLC. Uh, just giving everyone some updates with the IRS in terms of their response to the COVID 19 crisis. There have been a couple of updates and things that they, I guess, have come up with, one of which, and I think this is very important, they have a new tool on the IRS website that will pretty much tell you what the status is with the stimulus payments. Now, most of you will probably know that the stimulus payments have started being disbursed, but a lot of people haven't gotten theirs yet. And what appears to be happening is this: the IRS is releasing the first payments are going to those who have processed their returns, whether it being 2018 or 2019 returns, with direct debit. Okay, and this makes sense because it's easier for the IRS to deposit those monies into the bank accounts because those were the last bank accounts that were used by the IRS to deposit refunds. So they know those bank accounts are active and they can go ahead and get the monies in there as fast as possible. The next thing that the IRS intends to do is to release checks. So if you did your tax return in 2018 or 2019 and you did not do your refund by direct debit, then what the IRS will do is send you a check to the last known accurate and up to date address that they have on file for you. Um, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is, this is a big undertaking by the IRS. Figure this is a country with up to about 355 million people. Many of us are taxpayers. Many of us file returns, and the IRS has to kind of ensure that they get this money out in a very short period of time with what they believe to be the right information that they have. Now, as you and I know, not everything out there is going to be correct. So there will be some mishaps along the way. And, what we're trying to do, or at least what I'm trying to do as a tax preparer, is ensure that everyone has the correct information out there. The IRS has made some efforts to make sure this goes seamlessly. And so they have this tracking thing on their website where you can track the status of your stimulus payments. The other thing that they have, or rather they're saying that they will have, I'm not sure if it's functional yet, is the ability for you to put in your banking information online on the IRS website. It's supposed to be a secure process where you can go online and put your banking information on there so that the IRS will have the most up-to-date banking information that they need in order to process your returns secure. Excuse me while I make sure that this camera is adjusted well. All right, that definitely looks a little better. All right, so that's kind of what's going on in terms of ensuring that everyone gets these stimulus payments at the right time and that the information out there is up to date. And of course, on the IRS website, they have put out a ton of information about this out there. So if you need to get more details, especially about knowing who's eligible and who's not eligible for the stimulus payments, my advice is go into the IRS website and just take a look. It's pretty clear, and it tells you or anyone else, what who is eligible, who is not eligible, how the stimulus payments going out, and everything else that I've spoken about is on the IRS website. I will say this: remember, it's a lot of money going out to a lot of people at the same time. This will take some time. So if you didn't get your payments as expected, last couple of days, give it some time. I've been getting a ton of calls from my clients and from other people asking why they haven't gotten their payments. And I'm having to explain to them that this is going to take a little while. So give the IRS, they're doing their best. Okay, all right. Give the government some time as well. They're doing their best to make sure that this all works out for everyone. And, I would say just keep checking on that website. Remember, it's overwhelmed most of the time. A lot of people are on there trying to find out where their payments are. So I noticed when I went on there yesterday and even earlier today that it was kind of stuck. It wasn't working. At some point it was, at some point it wasn't. And I just think that's just because there's just so many people out there trying to get onto that website. It might be at capacity as we speak. All right, let's take a look at a few things here. The IRS has something called the People First Initiative. This is new. And what this is basically, there's a lot of stuff here, but essentially what they're saying is that they're not going to be going after people at this time. So, if you're owing the IRS, if they sent you a garnishment letter before, if for some reason you were in the collections process, it's very likely that all that will be put on hold for the time being whilst they get through this process. And to be honest with you, they really don't have the manpower to do all that right now. Almost 195% of the workforce of the IRS is now working from remote locations. They are not working from the IRS offices. So that in itself is challenging because not all of them have the capability to work remotely. So God knows how this is all being done. So they're under as much pressure as anyone else. But the first People First initiative is to ensure that no one is going through the collection process when this is a pretty challenging time for everyone. They range from postponing certain payments relating to installment agreements, offers in compromise, limiting certain enforcement actions, and so on and so forth. Now, this is all on the IRS website, so you can definitely go on there and take a look and go through all the details to see whether any of this applies to you or not. Now, let's take another look at those who are eligible and those who are not. United States residents who receive the economic impact payment, and that's what it's called. It's called the economic impact payment of $1,200 for individual or head of household filers and $2,400 for married filing jointly if they are not a dependent of another taxpayer. I've gotten a lot of questions from some of my clients saying, hey, I filed or we filed, married filing joint. Our daughter is a dependent on our tax return, but she also had a job by herself. And will she get a separate, economic impact payment? The answer, according to this, is no. If they were on your tax return as a dependent, then no, they will not get a separate economic impact payment. It says here, the guideline is this. I'm going to read through this again. United States residents will receive the economic impact payment of $1,200 for individual or head of household filers and $2,400 for married filing jointly if they are not a dependent of another taxpayer and have a work-eligible Social Security number with adjusted gross income up to, and here it is, $75,000 for individuals, $112,500 for head of household filers, and $150,000 for married couples filing joint returns. So let's do that again. $75,000 for individuals, $112,500 for head of household filers, and $150,000 for married couples filing joint returns. Okay. Taxpayers will receive a reduced payment. All right. So taxpayers are going to get less if their AGI, that means the adjusted gross income, is between $75,000 and $99,000 if the filing status is single or married filing separately, 112,500 and 136,500 for head of household, 150,000 and 198,000 if the filing status was married filing jointly. So as you can see, there are two separate bands here of people who would qualify for the economic impact payments. Obviously, if your earnings, your adjusted gross income, is on the highest scale, it's like a sliding scale. You're going to get less money. And if your adjusted gross income is on the lower scale, then you tendency that you're going to get a little bit more money as well. Again, all this is on the IRS website, so it's nothing. It's all out there. The amount of the reduced payment, and I'm reading from the IRS website, by the way, the amount of the reduced payment will be based upon the taxpayer's specific adjusted gross income. Now, a little bit further, eligible retirees and recipients of Social Security, railroad retirement, disability, or veterans benefits, as well as taxpayers who do not make enough money to normally have to file a tax return, will receive a payment. This also includes those who have no income, as well as those whose income comes entirely from certain benefit programs such as supplemental security income benefits. So this tells us that even those who would normally not file a tax return will also receive a payment. Let's go a little bit further. Although some filers, like high income, will not qualify for an economic impact payment, most will. So most filers will qualify for some kind of an economic impact payment. Taxpayers likely will not qualify for an economic impact payment if any of the following apply. So this is important. If any of the following apply, these taxpayers who fall under the following categories most likely will not be getting an economic impact payment. Here goes. Your adjusted gross income, your AGI, adjusted gross income, is greater than $99,000 if your filing status was single or married filing separately. If your adjusted gross income was $136,500 and you filed head of household, you're probably not going to get anything. If your adjusted gross income was $198,000 and your filing status was married filing jointly, you're probably not going to get anything. You can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return, so that's not going to stop you from getting an economic impact payment. Well, hold on, because that sounds like something that they were saying you couldn't do earlier on. So let's take a look at this. For example, this would include a child, a student, or an older dependent who can be claimed on a parent's return. Sounds a little bit confusing to me, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. Okay, so this is what they're saying. Under these conditions, you will not get an economic impact payment. So if you can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return, you will not get a separate economic impact payment. If you do not have a valid Social Security number, so if you have one of those TIN numbers that they gave out some time ago, then you will not get an economic impact payment. If you are a non-resident alien, you will not get an economic impact payment. If you file Form 1040-NR, that's for non-residents, or 1040-NREZ, again, that's for non-residents, you will not get an economic impact payment. So again, guys, this is on the IRS website. You can go there and read through this. But I just wanted to kind of give everyone a synopsis of generally what's going on. And even for us who are professionals in the tax industry, some of it's quite overwhelming because there's a lot happening at the same time. I'm not even going into what they're providing for small businesses, because some of that has become very confusing. What they're doing is giving out the payments through banks, and this is for small businesses, by the way. And each bank has different guidelines for giving out the payments to small businesses. So what we're having to do as tax professionals is contact each bank to find out what their guidelines are and how it's different from, say, other banks. So, be patient with us, give us time. We are still working through this ourselves so that we can get you, our clients, the most accurate and up-to-date information that's possible. So that's all that I have for today. I promise to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on. Again, if you need to call me, our offices, we are considered essential employees. So enterprise tax is open. However, we're not doing any walk-ins, but we can take appointments. Our preference is that you send in your information to us via email. We have a server where it can be uploaded to, and I've even had some of my clients send in pictures as well. So it's all secure. We attempt to ensure that we have the most up-to-date security on our computer systems, on our networks. So please do not have any fears about security with your documents. We ensure that we do everything that we can to comply with the IRS requirements for the security of our documents. All right, stay safe. Look forward to serving you, and I will be speaking with you guys again pretty shortly. Thank you. Bye.